Yeah, listen, I'm excited.
Oh, that's it. People on already, right? Or no?
Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah.
How much time do we have in order to speak? Someone send a link of the Zoom, not the flyer. A link that someone can click on.
Yes. How do we do that? So you can do it. You can send a link to me.
I can't send it from here.
I'll send it, Rabbi. Don't worry.
Yeah, Daniel, will you send the link?
I want to send it to people that they can click on it and it'll take them to the Zoom. Because I don't think the flyer, I don't think we'll do that.
1 second. 1 second. 1 year.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Before many years.
Okay, then it just sent it.
Yeah, probably 45 minutes to an hour, probably good. Before people go home. Yeah. That's cool.
People are on, yeah? Is it gonna people on over here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm showing what's up, Strinkin.
Russell, is that sideways for everybody or?
I know.
Is it sideways? Yeah. Is that good?
Yeah. Is that really?
Yeah.
Everyone's so shy. No one just has their camera.
Welcome to Zoom.
Like we were talking
No, we were
about.
on a Zoom. You told them.
Like we were
With
talking about.
600 people.
All right,
Guess who had their
good
camera on?
evening.
We did.
We are starting our extraordinary 2-class series, tonight being the first evening with Rabbi Shalom Hertzel, Shliach of the Rebbe in the Golan Heights, that is on Shlichus here with his wife and son Yehuda, and we will be discussing tonight medical ethics. Without any further ado, Rabbi Hertzel.
Okay, thank you very much. See the teaser of the class, some people already have publicized. So let me say it again anyway. The story which happened 2012 was a year of a lot of stabbing, a lot of terror by the Arabs. It was individual terror by stabbing people. And one day in Rishon LeZion, on a traveling bus, while the doors are closed of the bus, we can't run anywhere. And the bus was really going pretty quick, so you can't stop it right away. An Arab pulled out his knife and he stabbed, and there was nowhere to run until the bus driver was able to understand what happened and to stop the bus and to open up the doors. Few people already got stabbed, and this is why he did it in a closed bus, going quick, because you can't run away. One of the Jews that got stabbed in the most severe way was a person by the name Daniel Cohen. Daniel Cohen was stabbed 5 times. And one of the stabbing was a very severe stabbing. He got stabbed through his kidneys, liver, and spleen. And he was bleeding from the inside a lot. So he fainted. He was rushed to the hospital nearby. It's called Asafa Rofe, near Kfar Chabad Hospital. And he was put right away into a surgery, the opening up, in order to stitch, in order to put together the organs that were stabbed, that were cut. When he woke up, after many hours of surgery, the doctors seemed to be very happy and very excited. And they told him, you should know that your life was saved now due to the terrorists, because we found by you a huge tumor, which grows usually outside of the organs, not inside of the organs, which makes a big difference, because there's no signs from the out when it's the outside.
It's the inside.
No, when it's the outside, it's on top of the organs, in the halala beten, in the emptiness of the stomach, and it could grow very big. And before you see anything, when you see something, usually it's too late. It was the size of a small soccer ball. That's like I would say it in all of a Shalom story. And you should know that al pi derech hateva, there is no any way in the world to find out, no any signs. If we would find out, usually it would be your last days. With these Arabs saved your life. Daniel Cohen recovered and made a big Sudat Odaya and he publicized on the newspapers. The headlines were, "The Arabs stabbing saved Daniel Cohen's life." That was the headline. How Daniel Cohen, he interviewed him, how he was saying that the Arab saved his life, that the terrorist saved his life. All the newspapers, the headlines were the same, more or less, different words. 3 months later, when they brought the terrorist into the court, he said, "I want to defend myself." And he took out all the newspapers from the Haredish to the Friday newspapers, where all those newspapers would say that he saved Daniel's Cohen life. So he said, "I'm a hero, I'm a savior, but definitely not a terrorist." You want to see whom? Daniel Cohen is saying it, not me. The newspapers are saying it, the doctors are saying it, not me. It's not my own idea.
I want to just put out that this is a clear Gemara for people that learn Daf Yomi,
Right.
and whoever can chop it, it's clear, befetish.
Yeah, obviously everything comes from Gemara sources from the beginning. We'll see few Gemaras all along the way.
Mamish this.
Right. So that's the story. Obviously, besides of the rabbi, we need to understand whether he's right or wrong. In order to understand it, because you understand that we are in a dilemma. It's a real dilemma. From one side, he is a terrorist. From the other side, he saved his life. So you could argue when and at what point the surgery starts. You could say a surgery starts in a hospital, in a very clean, sterilized place. That's not a surgery, but it's not true. In army, in wars, you're doing surgeries many times in field conditions. Field condition, that's exactly field condition. In the Second Lebanon War, in Miftzayim Veizam, surgeries were in harder conditions than these, less sterilized. So definitely the first stabbing is the beginning of a surgery, or maybe not. In order to understand it, we have to bring another case, dilemma, and to make similarity to our case. In Tel Aviv, there is a mall by the name Ramat Aviv Mall, north of Tel Aviv. The Chanaya, the parking, is underneath. The hot summer day of Israel, Tel Aviv, hot summer day could be horrible. A lawyer, a criminal lawyer, took out his wife with their baby to eat somewhere at night. In the tower somewhere, but there's a nice restaurant, fancy restaurant. I was never there, but I know very fancy that took out his wife. Took them a long time to find a parking, very busy day. Everyone are out, everyone are looking for a mall, for a good, cool place to be. While he's searching for a parking, there's a person dressed sophisticated, but looked after their car. Their car is a fancy car, expensive car. And he's looking, and he didn't realize because that person was professional. When they parked in their place, they did everything automatic what the person doing without thinking while he's going out of his car with his wife. When you are doing it, many movement you do without thinking. For example, you will leave a car, what do? Close the engine, right? You press the button, you go from the driver's side, the wife or the other side, it doesn't make a difference, go from the other side, and you go meet in front of the car. Usually you'd beep, right? You'd hear the sound of the click. From the back, you would look, and this is what happened. They beeped, he locked the doors, he heard the beep locking, and he went to the elevator. This person was waiting for 7 minutes, because 7 minutes is a time when a person didn't forget his wallet, didn't forget anything. People
7 minutes, it's good to know.
7 minutes is a good time. When a person's right, the person's into what he's doing.
That's it.
Specifically, when he came out with his wife, dressed like they're going to have some to enjoy that night. So 7 minutes, they're there. This person which was looking after them was the best, probably the best sophisticated Israeli thief, car thief. Every car, specifically newest car and expensive cars, he learned it by himself. Every part of it, every detail of it, he learned. He's a genius. And he knew the rough point and how you are able to steal those cars. And he had very, very soft tools. He came to the car and he managed to put a tool, a soft wire in between the window, and the door. He knew where the chip electronic chip which controls the entire security system of the car, hides, and he just sent the electric wave with batteries, and he burned that chip. At that moment, the security is neutralized. 2 minutes later, he's in the car, and he was able to start the car, the engine of the car. I saw a person doing it. It was a shock when a professional person is doing it. You know, the cars, they look like safe. They're not safe anywhere, because those which want to know how to do it very easily could break into your car. And he drove outside of this canyon, of this mall, very slowly, dressed elegant. You don't see anything outside of you that he's the car thief. Once he outside of the mall, he drove very, very quick, because there are 6 lights between the mall and the highway number 1. Highway number 1, you go off somewhere, and then you go to the Arab places. Once you go to Arab places, police are not coming after the car to look after the car, unless it's the big actor or celebrity. Otherwise, people don't go, not endangering their life. Around in minutes wise, it's about 23 minutes drive, very quick drive. He drove the first light, second light, third light, fourth light, fifth light. He was speeding very, very strong. And once at the fifth light, he saw the highway, but he was speeding so hard, he realized that the light turned from orange to red. And he put the brake, the very hard brake. And when he stopped, he was already, so to say, in the junction, in the middle of the intersection, while car robbing him. The first shock a person is doing naturally, a driver, what's the first thing that you do once you do a short break? If it's a very hard short break, you look back in the mirror, because the cars behind you think that you crossed the intersection. So they could get you, right? So you look in the mirror. He looked in the mirror, and he saw, for his horror, baby of 3 months old in the car, already gray and blue, choked because the parents forgot him in the car. Which what happens? And he was very not breathing.
Why
He
is he not
fainted.
breathing? Because it was hot.
In Israel could get 70 Celsius in the car into up to few minutes. 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I think there was you were able to see something in a celebrity survey that they put him in the car. You get $100 if you could hold 10 minutes in a car in a closed windows, and no one was able to do it. Here in Hertzel, Tel Aviv, impossible.
Okay.
He gets 70, 90, and a small baby. His lungs are so small, which very quickly he'll go out. Once he saw the baby, he said to himself, "I am a car thief, but not a Reitzeach. I want to save the baby," and a Jewish spark will turn on, and he turned the wheel, and he drove the way he knows how to drive quickly into the nearest hospital, the Elyahu hospital. He broke into the emergency room, so to say, with the car. He pulled and he ran outside with the baby already, I don't know how to say it, melting, it doesn't hold himself. The muscles are falling, gray, and the head nurse ran to him. He was choking in the car. She grabbed the baby. They ran to the trauma room.
They saved the life.
And he saved the life. Now I'm not sure. That's it. And he was sitting there. She's asking me, "You want to sit here?" Yeah, sit. His Jewish spark turned on in a way that he took completely responsibility over the baby. Then she comes to ask questions. Who is the baby? Don't know. How you got here? Don't know. And the law says that you have to take the baby without asking questions, because otherwise people will not bring such people to be saved. Whatever they don't want to answer, they don't need to answer.
Today's garbage.
He doesn't know. Meantime, the parents are sitting there, and from the hospital they call the police or the security. They are authorized to see what's going on. And they came to the car without him realizing. They opened up the glove compartment, and they saw the registration, they saw the name, and they saw it's a person, it's a lawyer. They called him up. "Hello, Mr. This and this. Yes. Where's the baby? Baby, where's the baby? You have to go to Ichilov. What's his condition? We can't tell you. We're not for medical personnel. Come down quick as possible." He ran downstairs looking for the car, without thinking the car was stolen, until they got to the hospital. Their neshamot was out. But when they ran to the hospital, they saw the trauma room doors. That's how to say the trauma room, they call it. Opened up, and a stretcher of a baby is going out with doctors and doctors and nurses, very serious face, and they're talking to a stranger. They want to hear what we are the baby. The baby is alive, but he will need. He's a very severe condition. We have to take him to the ICU. We are the parents. And the whole caravan of doctors and nurses are going towards the ICU. Comes to the ICU. One person is allowed to come inside. Who is coming inside?
The gunner.
The mother. Everyone are. I will be very surrealistic. Everyone are going outside to their places, to their doors, to their rooms, and two people are standing outside of the door. The tate with the gunner. Hello? Yeah? And the lawyer, whose head was a very quick head, he said, something is fishy here. I saw my car here. What's happening here? How did they got here? And he says to the Ghanem, could I go smoke outside? I'm very tense. The Ghanem says, for sure. If my wife will go out, please call me for sure. And he says, I'll stay here and we'll guard.
Why was the Ghanem there for stage?
I'll say this, also the Jewish spark is there. So he took responsibility, walked outside, he took out his remote control, and he realized that doesn't work. He understood exactly what happened because he's a lawyer of this Kanavim. He comes back. He goes to the gun and he puts his head over the shoulder and says, I want to tell you something. You don't understand what you did to us. And slowly he's walking to him towards the car, telling him that 10 years they tried to have babies and they couldn't. And after many treatments, that's their child which was born. And that's their life. There's nothing for their life besides of this baby. And he should understand that he didn't save just the life of one child. He saved the life of 3 people. And my wife for sure will be, she's so emotional. She'll write to you a poem. She'll bless you. You're going to hear from her. And while talking, they're going slowly towards the car. And when they come towards the car, he pulls out his keys. And you see, that doesn't work. Do you know why it doesn't work? I'll tell you why why the chip doesn't work. Because you broke into this. Because you stole the car. And you found the baby and you brought it to the hospital. I know that this, to fix it, cost around 20,000 shekel. So how do you want to solve it? Between us, you want me to call police for that? And the guy says, I can't believe it. Are you serious? I say that your boy, yourself, you're 3 people, and you want business is business. Saving. I'll tell you, my wife is going to write you a very nice poem. But money is money. So my question is 2 questions, very short. A, who is right? Second, is this case similar to the first case or it's different than the first case? So who will be volunteer to tell us? It's at least Danny, are you with us?
I'm with you.
Tell me, Chayla Potter.
I would say putter.
Potter. Okay, now tell me what this not. Which question is mainly if this case is similar to the first case or it's different.
As it relates to what? As it relates to the
very similar.
saving a life?
Very different.
To saving the life?
In principle, both.
In both cases, they
That
intended to
good
do one
came-
thing, and there was an outcome that was good.
Good came out of bed
Right.
Yeah.
But the first case, the intention was to murder.
over here.
Here was to steal.
Okay.
So
It was a.
Well,
But
second,
either way,
don't
you're
we say-
doing something that was illegal, that was wrong, and yet the outcome was that you saved a life in both cases.
This week's Daf Yomi was we learned that a ganef, wasn't it this week's Daf Yomi? What's a ganef really someone who's prepared to even kill?
That's true too. That's someone that tunnels into your house.
But that's only after the fact.
The Gemara says in Avodah Zarah that when Mashiach is coming, all of the goyim will say this. The Gemara says God is going to judge them, and the goyim are going to say, "You're judging us." Then we'll see all of the good that came from all of their tzaddis. They're going to tell God, "Reward us." The Gemara says they're going to say.
It seems the same to me.
okay, so
On the surface.
how many levels happen here and how many levels happen in the first one? How many stages happen here in this case and how many stages happen in the first case?
No, they're much different. The first case it was direct. The act of the hezek was the act of the savior.
Of the second over here,
And over here, no, he stole.
Stealing, breaking.
and
It
then,
happened later.
Saving a
It was
life.
indirect.
but when the life saving started, when
When he
First,
chose,
when
when
he
he did
saw the
tshuva,
kid.
No, when he
when he
stole
did
the car.
tshuva, when
Yeah.
he
When he saw the kid in the mirror.
with something, but then he changed direction to the hospital.
No, if he wouldn't have stolen the car, the baby would have died at the
That's the
car.
second cause, but the direct cause.
he took the baby to the hospital.
But the direct
action
cause
in the
wasn't
second
even
case
his
was a good
cause.
action.
The direct cause was the parents. The parents left the kid in the car.
No. This guy, the act of Gezel was a bad thing, but then he made a second choice to take him to the hospital.
Yeah.
Here, by the first case, he made one choice to murder.
Or to start surgery.
Right.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's something else,
Yes.
but I'm saying that's another question. But it's one action. Here it's two different
different
things.
actions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. The second.
Because if you go to the Arab places, they'll be dying. You need a hospital. Okay. So, in order to understand that, I'll make you short because usually I'm making the girls very crazy about it.
Hold on 1 second.
And screaming in the class and fighting, and you can't imagine. Should maybe video this one time. Yeah.
Hold on. In the second case, he chose to save the life.
At
That's what
one
I'm
point.
saying.
In the
Yeah.
first case, he didn't
Right.
choose to save the life.
Okay.
Right.
What point he chose to save the life?
There was an
Since
intention.
After the
When
When he saw the baby and decided to drive to the hospital.
Okay.
After the car was his
In
already.
the first case,
He didn't choose
He
that.
never
Did it
chose.
ju-
you
it
know,
just
he
happened
chose
to
only when he
happen.
got the newspaper saying that
Yeah.
Daniel Cohen
Yeah.
defined it as a saving.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
So in the first case, I would say let's say the guy actually intended to help. So in the case of the guy walks by the car, he sees the baby stuck in the car and he has to brake the car in order to save the baby. Would he be chayiv then for the break in the car? Everyone would say, no, you're off the hook. You broke into the car, you saved the baby. So here he broke the car and he saved the baby. But if you saw somebody that has cancer and you go ahead and you just stab him with a knife to start doing surgery on your own, which
No,
doesn't necessarily be that second, you're not off the hook for doing that.
Why
No.
not?
If you see someone truly that no one is believing you that he has cancer, no one believes you.
You can do an MRI. There's other things you can do. You can't just walk over, stab them,
If that's the only thing you can do,
Who says?
you won't be
But
off
that's
the
not
hook.
the only thing you could do. Here, the guy's trying to, because the
the only
baby's
thing you
locked in
can
the
do.
car.
No
The
one-
baby's locked in the car. You have to break that car to get to the baby.
No.
Okay.
But he's saying a good thing that
I don't say the first case. Tell me the first case. How about the cancer story? What's the difference about the cancer story? What's the difference? We are starting the surgery.
Because you're not a doctor. He's not a doctor, a regular person. I can't go ahead and do a surgery on somebody. You could take somebody's not good. You could take
Right,
it.
but
You
if
could
you
take it to the
didn't take
doctor. You could do an MRI. You could pay for an MRI. There's other things you could do, but you can't. I just can't do my own surgeries whenever I want. It's against the law.
Against the law, but tell me, you know why Hertzel why they made Hertzel? Not what they didn't satisfy with the FDNY in New York? Because of these cases. Exactly because of these cases. If you could save a person, would you save him, or you would say, no, first they have to do MRI, first they have to do this, to check about the insurance, or you'd say, listen, I'm not a doctor, but this is saving him,
Truly, it's Dr. House. Does he?
Okay, we'll continue.
But in the second case,
Yeah.
he's saying a good thing, that if he were to see the child and he broke the car, would he be on the hook for the 20,000 shekel?
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
That's
No,
also a good
The
question.
question
That's a
is,
good question.
that's a good question. What point starting the Atzole? Why? Because if you'd go to the Arab villages, would the baby be alive or not?
No.
No. So at the beginning, he was on the way to where?
The
To Arab villages.
The difference is the intent.
Or maybe not. Or maybe the first step is breaking into the car, saving. So that's the question.
Yaakov, you're saying
But
the
definitely it's different
difference is the
story.
intent.
He could have
Breaking the window to
said,
save the
I
baby,
didn't-
stole the car,
I didn't
stole the
break
car.
your car. I tried to save your baby
He was-
without
You're right. He was
implying that
able to say.
Yeah.
So then why? What were you doing
He
on the
was
way?
just strolling. You don't know where he went.
Or-
He went to the hospital.
Or he could have had a better
But it was
lie.
a
He could have
Tesla.
said,
It was
listen, what do you
probably
mean?
a
I was saving your
tractor.
baby. I wasn't stealing your car.
Right, I saw
the
baby and I took the car.
I want to say
No,
one
it's
thing that-
illegal. You should believe it. You
that
should
save a
believe it.
life, to save a life, we are allowed to steal other people's property, but the Rav says you have to pay for it.
Pay for it afterwards.
No, but here he could say better. He could say, believe me that I stole the car because I could have lied and said I wasn't trying to steal the car. I was trying to take him to the hospital.
But the,
No, but he's saying the emes. He's saying the emes. The Ganef
So
is
that's why
saying
he
that-
should be off the hook.
No, he should be believed about what happened. The question is, what's the halacha? What happened?
Okay, let's move.
There's a Gemara in Saita that says that Shimshon sinned with his eyes, therefore he's punished with his eyes. that what happened? He said he saw the beautiful woman and he said, I want to marry her, Delilah, right? So
Yes.
the Gemara asked, I didn't, they know, the Tanach says it came from Hashem. He says, yeah, Taka came from Hashem, but he didn't know that. He had the bad intentions. And therefore he
Okay,
got punished.
let's say that.
Very
Okay,
good. Very good. Let's see if that. Let's see. You say that even though Hashem brought it to him, but that was not his intention, right?
it's all
Okay.
about
Rabbi, you're also saying that the way Hertzel came about was from the better than the FDNY is because something bad happened and then caused Hertzel to be created, right?
Yeah.
We don't say Echta ve'ashuv. Right?
Okay, but if you are able to save a life, you're not a certified doctor. Should you do it or not?
Sure.
Even
But
suffix saving life.
that's not what the Arab was doing.
He saved a life. Bottom line.
After the fact.
Okay, that's the question. Would after the fact applied for the changes from the beginning, retroactive story or not? So one more story. This story happened in 1894. The Tsar made a new tax on liquor, on alcohol in Lithuania and Russia. And all the Jews then, their main parnasa was from selling this tavern, this alcohol, right? Moshke, we know, Moshke, the Beis Marzeach, the Poritz, all these stories. Once he taxed them in a high tax, so then many Jews decided to do, I can't say it loud,
contraband, illegal.
to do it based on black.
Moonshine.
The what?
Moonshine.
Moonshine, that's
Yeah,
not
black market.
Mishpachas moonshine.
Okay. To open up taverns in their own living rooms, in their own basement. And that was the story. And many Jews had parnasa based on this tavern, based on this alcohol. Here's a story about one of these Yidalach, which that was his parnasa. He used to buy 2 barrels a year, 1 Tishrei, 1 Nisan, and he sold, now we made the profit to buy 1, to sell later 1. That was his life. One day, his friend came to visit him, and he was talking to him and argued with him and fought with him and became very upset with him. And he kind of pushed this big barrel, and the big barrel broke, and all the alcohol just dropped on the floor and became a puddle of stinky alcohol standing inside the puddle. While they're standing there in a shock, they heard big knocks on the door, and supervisors of the Tsar broke in, and they were looking for illegal alcohol. And they made a research, and they found only what? A puddle. So they couldn't write on the duch, how do you say the duch?
Ticket.
On the ticket that they found the barrel, nothing. And they walked out. Now, obviously, they start another argument. The owner of the barrel said, "You broke my barrel, pay." And the Jew said, "What are you talking about? Do you know the law? If they would caught you here with this barrel, so then you'll be confiscated the barrel. You'll have to pay the amount of the barrel again. You'll be losing twice, plus 3 months in jail. I saved you." And he said, "No, you didn't save me. You were fought. You had a fight with me. You broke it. Afterwards, it happened. He came in." That's a true story that happened in 1984. And there was a Rav there by the name, he wrote a book by the name Moker Chaim. I guess his first name is Chaim. Simon Pegimel Moker Chaim dealt with this question. And it said, I received a letter from these 2 people. I should ask them whether it's Chaim or Potter at the Battle of Wine. Of alcohol. Well, you're starting a bottle of alcohol. Okay. And the Rav brings a brilliant idea. And it says like this. The Gemara Bava Kama, page Yudzayin, says that if Reuven was throwing something from the roof, a vessel from the roof, and that a person, Shimon, another person was standing on the ground, and he swung a baseball bat, and before the vessel hit the ground, Shimon broke with the baseball bat. Now the question is, who should pay for it? Reuven says, you broke it. Shimon says, you broke it because you threw it from the roof. And the Gemara says, Rabbi says, the person that threw it from the roof, he is supposed to pay. Even though technically, who broke the vessel? The person on the ground. Why? This is the definition of the Gemara terminology. Mono tviro hu tovar. broken vessel you broke. He broke.
Not by murder.
Yeah. Broken vessel he broke. Okay, you get what's a broken vessel? Broken vessel means once you throw it off the roof, it's a broken vessel. The fact that the person, that's the cause. The fact that the person with the base of a bat hit it on the ground, he didn't add to the cause of the breaking. You did broke it anyway. So who should pay for it? Reuven. If so, said the rabbi, these supervisors of the tax were on the way. So this barrel of wine was considered already broken. A second beforehand, the friend pushed it. It's a broken vessel. Why? Because they got the, how they say, they got the information, inside information. They came to this address because they knew that he's selling this alcohol. So they were on the way to confiscate, on the way to break it. So it's a broken vessel. The friend didn't add into the breaking. And therefore, he said, he's potter. Good idea, right? Such a good idea that he said it's wrong. Because it's not true.
Who said it's wrong?
The Rabbi.
The Rabbi himself said it's a brilliant idea, but not true. Why? Because in a different Gemara, the Gemara Menachos says, the Gemara says, what happens if Reuven threw the vessel from the roof, okay? But Shimon threw an arrow. Sorry, no, didn't throw. Reuven didn't throw it from the roof. Reuven's playing with arrows, shooting, and there's a vessel, and he was shooting an arrow towards the vessel. And then a second before the arrow hit the vessel, Shimon broke it with a vessel. You understand the difference? In the first case, he took the actual vessel and he threw it from the roof. Over here, he didn't touch the vessel. He was just throwing towards the vessel an arrow. A second before, Shimon hit it with a baseball bat. So then whose responsibility is then? Tosfos said, in such a case, the responsibility is the one which hit it with a baseball bat. Why? Because the first one didn't touch the actual vessel. So the status of the vessel to be considered to be broken didn't happen yet because no one touched it.
Why? Because the shaila, if it was going to actually break, or
No, it definitely was going to break.
definitely going to break.
But nothing, no cause happened in the goof.
So the difference is the first case
got
he
there
throws
first.
it off the
So he took the actual vessel.
and he threw it.
The meiser, the action was inside the vessel. So it's considered already a broken vessel. Over here, the vessel is just standing there. It was throwing towards. If so, you understand the difference? And it says it's very, very easy to understand the difference. If so, in such a case over here, these supervisors didn't touch the vessel yet. So the vessel was considered broken or not broken. So the vessel was not considered broken. If so, who really broke the vessel?
The friend.
The friend. So the friend should be higher. You see how the rabbi changed his mind, but based on good what? Based on good reasons. But that's not yet.
Isn't that really a difference of inevitability? What's inevitable?
What's inevitable? Sorry.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
No, not enough.
It's not.
Not enough what's going to happen. It's supposed to be what's going to happen in the action in the actual vessel.
But the Gemara and Baba Kama contrasts the vessel with the person.
What?
The Gemara puts together throwing a person
Right.
off the roof. The Gemara puts together.
Right. But we're talking
That's
right
not the
now
same.
regarding
The money.
the money, the battle of the wine. So you need two conditions. First of all, for sure it's going to be broken. Second, that the action should be in the body, the actual vessel, not throwing towards it. So we still have a question. How much time do we have? 5 more minutes? That's late. So in order to confuse you more, before we are going to answer,
The advertisement said 7 cases. So far, we only have
Three.
3.
four are on the way.
Okay, go.
Okay. So here, let's go to something which is closer to a solution, but with a big question. There's another story in the Gemara. The Gemara in Menachos says another story. I'll say it in our day language. Story should be able to go into this, to be part of the stories of this. Shabbos afternoon, in a small town near a river, 2 Orthodox people with the Shreimlach, with the Bekiches, went to have a Shabbos afternoon walk.
And they're walking near the river, and they saw suddenly a person runs towards the water, like Amok, you're calling Amok, or the person runs with no signal, no thinking.
Panic.
Very, how?
Panic.
Not panic. Amok is it? What?
Amok,
Impulse.
Amok.
running amok.
Amok, which runs no thinking. He just runs upset. He runs to the water, and they're looking at him like they see that something is strange. Not going to tour anything. And he's climbing on a boat on Shabbos, on a little boat which was there. And they scream, "Hey, Rebbe, it's not allowed, Shabbos." And he says, "I don't care, let me watch me doing it." Now, once he says that, that's a little problem. Right? Because he's making them aid him. That's amazing.
And Asra.
What?
No, they didn't tell him a pasuk. They didn't tell him a punishment.
Yeah, but it's already started. Hey, I don't care. And he took off the rope and he roared into the water a little bit to say, "Don't do it. It's a question of tchumin, above 10, under 10. I don't care about anything. I'll do it." And then they saw him picking up fishing net. Once he picked up a fishing net over there, they started to say, "Please don't do it because fishing on Shabbos is trapping, tzad. Tzap is the eraisa. If we see it and we tell you that the punishment is killer, and you're doing it anyway, then you'll have to bring it to base and you'll be stoned." And he says, "I don't care. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know the punishment. Watch me doing it." That's very dangerous. And they're begging him, "Don't do it." And he says, "I'm going to do it." And he threw the fishing net into the water, but he didn't pick it up. So they're continuing begging him, "Please don't pull it out because there's no variant. If you pull it out, then you'll fish. Please leave it there. Do us a favor. Do yourself a favor." While they're screaming back and forth, they didn't realize that the wife or a lady, or his wife, came running towards the water. And she was also very mad without thinking. And they didn't realize that. And she came running to the water behind them and holding a small baby, a very young baby. And when she came to the water, she threw the baby to the water. She meant towards him. But she was screaming, "Hey, take your baby!" And she threw the baby, and the baby didn't fall into his hand. He fell into the water, and he was sinking. At that moment, simultaneously, he picked up the fishing net. And what came up on the fishing net, the Gemara says?
Fish and the baby.
Fish and the baby. Okay, this is the. Now, we have to understand what do we see here. Okay, should we give the solution now or for next week? What do you say?
Next week. No solution.
Okay, no solutions.
No, wait. Good question.
No, the question is what to say.
Oh, this is the first part of a two-part class. I didn't realize
Yes.
that. Okay, I didn't read the flyer.
Okay, so I think we should go to sleep with the questions.
What's the question?
The question is where? We need a marker. Wait, what's the question? The question is like this. We have mazit. You know what's mazit? What's the terminology mazit? When a person is doing avera in purpose. So there's kavana. Kavana means
Intent.
is intention. And then there is ma'aseh, the action, right? So what is mazid? Kavana, what is this kavana of a person which wants to do an avera? Avera. Plus, what's his action?
Avera.
He did avera. Equals, what's the halacha?
Higher.
Stalin. When a person had intention to do avera, and he did the avera, so then the halacha is higher. Then we have shoygeg. What is shoygeg? When a person knows that it's not allowed to write on Shabbos, but he doesn't know that Shabbos today. So what's his kavanah? His intention is to make an avera or not?
No.
So it's called stam. Right? Stam. What's the ma'aseh? The action though was an avera or not?
Yes.
Avera. Chayav or potter equal
A carbon.
Potter.
A carbon.
He has to bring a carbon, but potter from the death, a carbon. Potter, but carbon he has to bring, right?
Yeah.
Then we have onus. Onus, there are two levels of onus. One onus means that a goy is forcing you to do an aver on Shabbos. So what's your intention? To do an aver or not?
No.
To do a mitzvah, right? What's your intention? A goy is forcing you. Don't want this, the KGB. So the kavanah is mitzvah. The action though is what? Aver. Equals, what's the halacha?
Potter.
Potter even from completely potter. And then we have mitasek. You know what mitasek? By mistake happened you ever that by you turn you moved your hand and the light was on?
Yeah.
You had in mind to make Shabbos, you didn't have anything in mind, right? Stamp. So the kavanah is what? Stamp. Right? And the action was aveira equals in this mitasek is potter even from a carbon because just he fell on something. It's not like I forgot the Shabbos today. Zero. So therefore, you know what's the dilemma? Always the dilemma we spoke of to now, because there is a fifth category that there is no name even. This is the Torah said. That's the Torah discussed. This is the Torah says, and this we have in Torah. The fifth one is a question mark. You know what's the fifth one? When the kavanah is a veiro, I want to steal. And the action that came out is a mitzvah. That the Torah never discussed clearly. And therefore, we are used to A, B, C, D. We never know about this. It doesn't say anywhere.
No, it says.
Says, but in Ramazim, it doesn't say clear. This is why these cases, the common denominator of these cases is, what do we do in the opposite direction of all the four? When the kavanah is a veiro, the mice is a mitzvah. And this Mirza Hashem will be next week.
Just for the Zoom audience, that and the end by the answer, we're going to shut up the Zoom. You're going to come here.
Good one.
Shkoyach, Rabbi.
What is the point?
What's
No name.
Oh, there's no name.
No definition. My theory, how do you say